Welcome to the Gals Guide podcast. Join us on an adventure to get to know famous and infamous women from around the world. Each of our presenters has a pick. Is she ancient history? Is she breaking news? Is she safe for work? Well, that's up to each presenter. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back to the Gals Guide podcast. It is a new month and a new theme. So 2025 is our Rebel Gal era, and this month we are looking closely at injustice. Injustice is often the root of rebellion, people resisting against oppression, inequality, or unfair treatment that denies them the rights and dignities. This collective frustration with injustice drives individuals and groups to seek change and challenge the systems that are causing harm. So let me introduce you to my change makers this month. First up, she is president of Gals Guide and our head librarian. It's Bonnie Just Fillenworth, everyone.
Bonnie.
Yay! So, Bonnie, what is just one of your rebel plans for June? I know. We always forget we asked this question.
June.
What are my plans?
Well, now and into June,
right.
I'm frantically working on a cosplay.
What?
That I've been planning on for a whole year, but now it's crunch time.
Of
trying
course.
to get ready for both Origins and Gen Con.
And your cosplay is?
From Breath of the Wild.
I don't know that one.
Cass.
Okay.
He's a little bird man who
Oh!
has a little accordion.
So this is like Link and Legends of Zelda we're talking.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes,
Oh!
yes. Breath of the Wild is Legends of Zelda.
Oh, I didn't know.
Everybody in my
Okay.
house has played this except me, but you know.
See, there you
So
go.
So I've probably
Birdman.
seen the
Katie's
Birdman.
Yeah,
now.
there you go.
He
With an
pops up.
accordion?
Yeah, he has a little accordion that he plays. He's like a little roaming bard guy.
Are you gonna have a real accordion?
Oh my
I have a
that's
kid's toy
fantastic.
accordion
So cute.
that I'm hoping to wrap in like vinyl to make it.
That'll be amazing.
I just finished the shirt last night.
Okay, there you
it's
go.
like a bell sleevey shirt.
Oh,
with
yeah,
all
yeah.
the
It's like
little
the
layers.
feathers.
It's like a pirate shirt, but instead of the ruffle on the front, it's on the sleeves.
Yeah, it's like a hippie shirt.
I like it. Oh, that is going to be fun. I dig it.
So when's your first appearance?
I'm hoping to have it done for Origins because they do have a cosplay contest.
Yeah.
Although I check like every 2 days.
I know, it changes all the time,
and they
but
don't
enter it.
have their like instructions.
Yeah.
And this would be my first time doing like a contest. Like
Right.
I'm dressed up for Gen Con.
Yes.
So I've never, but I won't be able to do Gen Con like the contest.
Right.
Because we're doing
There's
the
a
critical
pre-thing.
role thing, and that's at like 7, and I think their contest starts at like 5.
Gotcha.
When
So
does
there wouldn't be
Origins
enough
take
time.
place?
Origins is June like 18th or something.
So
Is
you,
it that
you're in a
okay.
crunch.
Yeah.
All
There you
right,
go.
you're get there.
You can do this.
3
I mean, the
weeks-
shirt
it's
seems
3
like the
weeks
biggest
from today.
part.
Yeah.
So
There you go. Take lots of
But
pictures.
I've
Yeah, I wanna
I've
see.
never done a contest before. I don't know what the like stuff is.
Right. Exactly.
Like some of them apparently you have to make a book.
Yes, a
that
lookbook
explains
of your
what you-
inspirations and what you made and what is custom and what is not.
They don't have the instructions.
I know. It
So I'm
frustrates
like, I don't
Paige
know
all the
what-
time, too.
Because they're
Yeah.
like, some of them require like a book.
Yes.
And then some of them, they only want like 3 or 4 pages. And then some of them,
Right.
they just want 1 page.
Yes.
Like, I will not be able to just like print another one.
Right, exactly. Be like, hey, what do you got?
you can fight the injustice of that by
Yes.
being like, look, you didn't give me enough time to prepare for this, so
I'm
you
gonna
take
be-
me as
Yeah.
I
But-
am.
Exactly. But wear that damn awesome costume.
That's
But
right.
Get your way into that
And then
contest.
by, I don't know if we'll have enough time for Origins, but hopefully by Gen Con I'm going to learn the little song on the accordion.
Oh, yes, there you go. Well, I
Or
mean,
just
you might
film in
have
the
time
house.
to practice while you're in costume at Origins to then be ready for. But, oh my gosh. No, I love that. That is adorkable, and I can't wait for it. Next up is our fab book club director and vice president of Gals Guide. It's Katie Young, everybody. Yay!
Thank you, ladies.
So, Katie, what is one of your rebel plans for this month? I know you have a plethora.
That's perfect
and a
timing.
list. Yes, exactly.
I was going to say, my plan is to fight the germs
Yes,
that
fight
seem
the
to have
germs.
infected our house.
Yeah.
Just wipe those out so we can
Tis
have
the
a
season.
really great summer.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Get that spring cleaning from your lungs and sinuses.
that's right.
Yeah.
Just, gotta purge all that before this summer starts. No, I'm going to spend a lot of Rebel time poolside is my hope.
Ooh, I like it. Yes.
Pull my kiddo away from his computer.
Yes.
And
Get him outside.
experience outside.
I hear it's lovely.
I've heard this too. I actually saw a little article the other day about how your body remembers that bird calls mean that you're safe.
Oh,
So that's very good for you to hear the birds. I'm like, we need to go out and hear the birds.
you should
It may depend on the
Right?
bird.
Yeah. There you go. And
the
Freebird
birds.
by Leonard Skinner.
So yeah,
Not quite the same, but
I'm gonna love on some nature
yes.
and feel better for my Rebel plans.
That would be
Nice.
great.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Well, as for me, I am Riru, and I'm the executive director of Gal's Guide. Oh, my Rebel plans. I kid you not. It's June Pride Month. My Rebel plans are to be the best mom to a trans kid that I possibly can. Because my son is about to turn 18. When the hell did that happen? That's totally weird. And he just kind of doesn't deserve the crap that he's been dealing with
Absolutely
in Indiana
not,
and
yeah.
all of that stuff and graduating, putting up with it. But we're moving to Minnesota, and we've got one step in Minnesota and one step in Indiana. And I just got to remember that my kid still really needs me at this point and to just be the best that I can be with the extra support. Because I'm sure Pride Month is going to be different this year. You know what I mean? People are going to be, especially in Indiana, they're going to just be a little bit scared or a little bit what if somebody just, loses their crap and thinks they're entitled to spew hate? So that's kind of my goal for June is just be a ridiculously mindful trans mom.
I love that. I'm going to jump on board with that a little bit and see anywhere I can see that Pride events are getting put down or having a hard time.
Yeah, just stand
see where
up
I can
for 'em.
jump in there and be like, look here.
Exactly.
Look here. Because I've already heard about this in the community I grew up in Madison, Indiana. They have a Pride event planned for June 14th.
Ooh, yeah.
And now suddenly there's signs around town about some kind of family churchy event on June 14th.
Right. Well, there can be both.
Of course there
But
can.
how about just make sure you leave the trans kids alone?
Right. But it definitely had a vibe that could go wrong. I don't know all the details since I'm not down there at the moment right now.
Yeah.
But just a few things people I know from there have said.
Yeah.
Seems like it could be.
Could be interesting.
Yeah, so,
Exactly.
and
Get
I hate
mama
that.
bear.
Yeah, right?
Thanks.
Yeah, and you absolutely rule at keeping open space for your children.
I'm trying. And for
And
other
yes.
kids in the
That's
community
right,
as well.
that's
It's one
right.
of those things where it's like,
Big
if my
mama
kids
bear
need
to
it.
everybody.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
if my kids need it, I know other kids will need it and be like,
Yeah.
hey, I've got more love to share, but I just always got to hold on. I just need to tap back into this. I can't be too busy.
I think it's a very strong sign, all the good you've done, that your kiddos want you, that
They
your
want me
son wants
around.
you
It's
to
weird.
go to Minnesota.
I know.
And your daughter that just graduated college wants to come along too.
I know.
Keeping the fam together.
I mean, sure. Until they decide to leave a nest, they will. They will do it.
Absolutely.
And it'll be great. But we have some Injustice Rebel gals to get to. And of course, Bonnie, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Yay! Look at that. So, who did you pick that made you think of Injustice?
I picked a lady that I was sure that we had already covered.
Right, Shirley Chisholm.
I was like
all over again.
Yes. When I was thinking about doing Shirley Chisholm, I was like, I swear we did this, and I was looking through. We got a little spreadsheet.
Yep.
Of what ones we've done. I'm like, it's not on there. I'm like, I swear I remember
We just
recording
talked
it.
about it. Yeah.
Yep. I was like, didn't Debbie cover her? I was so insistent. I was losing my brain. And then it was, again, with Ida B. Wells. I was like, I swear.
Yes.
I remember talking about Ida B. Wells Barnett.
That's who you're covering? I love that. She is an intersection with a lot of other people we have talked about. So maybe that's why it feels like where it's just like, oh, and she was friends with Ida B. Wells. So, yeah.
Everybody.
Perfect. Well, then tell us about the amazing, the fantastic Ida B.
She was born July 16th, 1862.
Wow.
For those of you keeping track, that's 3 years before the end of the Civil War.
Right. Yeah.
So she was born into slavery.
Right.
In Holly Springs, Mississippi.
Gotcha.
She was the first of 8 kids.
Oh. Yes.
Her parents were Jim and Lizzie. They were both born slaves. Jim happened to be a slave via he was his owner's only son.
Oh.
That whole situation.
Right. Yeah, complicatedness, that is that. Yeah.
But Jim was a carpenter.
Okay.
And actually built most of his master's home.
Oh.
And Lizzie
That's
was a
great.
cook.
Right, and cooked most of the meals.
Yep.
A lot
But,
of
you know...
undercurrents here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, not allowed to live in the house.
Right.
That he built. But, you know.
Sure.
The Emancipation Proclamation was passed when she was... Passed? I don't know. Declared?
Right, exactly.
Whatever.
Put into action?
When she was 2 months old.
Erected.
Okay, yes,
No,
there
I
you
don't
go.
know.
Yeah, finally.
I just need my word.
I haven't heard if the people there actually, like... Because it was like
If
the
they knew?
loophole
Yes.
that, you know, it didn't actually... It wouldn't technically be legal because it was for the South, but Lincoln wasn't controlling the South.
Right.
I'm not sure if they knew that
There
back
was
then or
pushback,
not.
right. Well, then there's the
Yeah.
whole Juneteenth thing where it's like the emancipation didn't reach Texas
Yeah.
for a couple of years. And it's like, oh, that's great.
Mhm. But the Civil War ends in 1865.
Yep.
And her dad got into a spat with his owner daddy. I guess.
It's fair. It's fair.
So it sounded
titling.
like they were still living there.
Yeah.
With them after they're freed.
Right. Because where are you going to go right away?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was working as a carpenter, and his owner daddy wanted him to vote a particular way in an election.
Oh.
You know, which
Right.
would not have been in his best interest.
Really?
And apparently, I didn't know the voting cards were different colors.
Oh.
So you knew
Who was voting for who?
Yeah,
and
I
based on what race
I don't know
you were,
if it was
probably?
different colors based on what party you're voting, or
Okay.
different colors as in white people got one card and black people.
Right.
But
Okay.
apparently you could tell that he did not vote the correct way.
Oh.
And he kicked him out. So he moved in across the street
Sweet.
and
Yes.
opened up a carpenter shop.
Oh. I like it.
And I imagine he went out there every day and went nana nana boo boo.
Yes.
Her mother actually ended up attending school with her kiddos.
Oh, okay.
And she
to get an education.
One thing I saw said she got like the perfect attendance. I'm like,
Mama was in school every day.
with 8 kids. You got perfect attendance.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, you gotta get away.
Sick.
You got.
Like-
Well, you also have a win-win where it's like all these kids better be in school too. We're all doing this
Well,
together.
I didn't see
Oh,
that any
good
of
point.
the kids got perfect
Oh,
attendance, but mom
Yes,
did.
There you go.
It's funny.
Close.
But her Ida went to go stay with, I think it was her grandma
Okay.
during like a summer when she was 16, and yellow fever came in and killed her mother, her father, and then one of the kiddos.
Oh,
wow.
no.
How horrible.
Yeah.
So she hurried
It's
back.
gonna traumatize you more than
Yeah.
anything else.
They
along
ended
with
up
all of
killing
it, yeah.
like 10% of the town or whatever.
Oh, wow.
It was like 3,000 and it killed like 300 or something.
Goodness.
A lot. So the town was trying to like help them out, and a couple people were like, I'll take these 2 kids, and a couple other people were like, I'm taking
Right.
these 2 kids. But Ida was very much like, no. Like,
Right.
she was like, I will take care of all my
She was-
siblings.
You said she was like 15ish. She was in her
Yeah,
teens.
she was
so,
like
yeah.
16, 17,
Okay.
something like
Yeah,
that.
take
But
her
she
brothers
was like-
and sisters. Yeah.
Like, I will take care of them as long as you help me get a job.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So she ended up getting a job as a teacher in a
Sweet.
nearby town, but she had to like commute there.
Yeah.
So it sounded like she went to work during the week and then came back on weekends.
Gotcha.
And then I'm not sure who was taking care of them during
Next oldest,
Yeah, I was
maybe?
gonna say
Maybe.
if one of them was kind of in
Yeah.
that tween teen, be like, guess
Yeah.
what you're in charge of now? I'll check on you on Friday night.
But yeah, at that point there were 5 remaining siblings. She was earning $25 a month,
Oh, my
and
goodness.
her youngest sister had a disability. It sounded like it was like scoliosis,
Oh,
but
gotcha.
she was like paralyzed from the waist down.
So she needed extra attention.
Yeah.
She needed extra care.
Well, when they were
yeah.
going to split up the kids,
Yeah.
someone was going to take 2, and then someone else was going to take another 2, and the one with the disability, they're like, we'll just drop her off at the orphanage.
Right. No.
Oh,
No.
gosh.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you, Ida B.
What a community.
Yep.
Yeah.
But like, I get that they're trying to help. We'll take 2
Sure.
of them, but yeah.
I also get that. Taking care of a child with disabilities in a wheelchair is
Right.
a lot
Right.
to take
Yes.
on, but ooh,
Yeah.
rude. Stings a little.
Yeah.
So they did that for a while, but they did end up splitting up and living with other family members, like
Gotcha.
on their own terms. I think the boys ended up going and living with a family member, and they were put into apprenticeship programs.
Oh, nice. So,
And then two sisters went with her, and they went to live in Memphis with Aunt Fanny.
Aunt Fanny.
I love me a Fanny.
That is your favorite name.
Yep. She
I
ended
love
up teaching again and had another commute where she would take the train.
Okay.
And she did this for several years where she would insist on buying a first-class ticket.
Yeah.
So she could sit in the ladies' car.
Ooh, yeah. So
was
not
a
be
quieter
hassled by the
car.
gentlemen's. Yeah.
It was like carpeted. It was a little bougie, and it was
Right.
for the ladies.
Yes.
But at this time, they would usually force people of color to ride in the smoker car with the dudes with the smoking and
Right.
the spit tobacco and all that. So she's minding her business one day riding on the train, and they kept saying conductor. I'm not sure if that's the right term. With all
For
my,
the train, it should be.
I don't know.
The person who takes the tickets
thinking
and checking
of
people?
Conductor is the dude who's driving the train.
No.
So they kept saying conductor, and I was like, I'm not sure that that's
I watched
right.
a lot of Polar
But
Express,
Ticket,
and they called
ticket
them.
taker
Yeah,
dude
yeah.
was coming by, and he was like, no. He's like, you don't have the right ticket.
Oh,
And she's like, well, this is my ticket.
right. This is
So-
what I paid for.
Yeah. So he ended up to try and force her to move, grabbed her luggage, and put it in the smoker's car, thinking
Ah.
she'd go after it.
Sure.
She was like, fuck you.
I'll find it.
Like,
I know where it is
like
now.
whatever. Like, you think those dudes want my dresses? Like, get out of here.
Mhm.
So the dude was not happy that she did not give a fuck.
Right.
So he started to forcefully remove her. And she's, it sounded like she was also a teeny tiny petite.
Oh, little feisty pocket
Lady.
puppy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I heard someone say 4.5, but I'm not sure if
Holy
they were
crap.
literally meaning 4.5 or
Right.
just that she was tiny.
Right.
But she ended up grabbing onto a seat,
Yeah.
and a couple other dudes were also pulling on her. So she's got several men yanking on her to try to get her
Trying
into
to
the smoker
throw mama
car.
from the train? Sorry.
Yeah.
Not happening.
God, that lady screaming. But they ended up just kicking her off the train after it was parked.
Okay. They didn't throw her from the train.
No.
But they tried, though.
They threw her from the train after it stopped.
Oh, God.
And she ended up, like, ripping her dress. So she ended up suing the
Yeah.
Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad. And when she did so, she hired an African-American attorney.
Yes!
Because that's the kind of boss she is.
I like it.
She ended up winning
Sweet.
and getting $200. And they filed an appeal.
Right.
And while they're waiting for all this to happen, it happened again.
Oh, really?
I don't know how much of a
Yeah.
scuffle, but they were trying to kick her out of her seat again.
Oh.
So she
Sued
sued
again?
again
Yes.
before the second was ended up being resolved. And then there ended up being a newspaper article about the second one.
Gotcha.
But the higher court ended up not ruling in her favor. She had to pay court
Racist.
fees.
Right.
And she was accused of not wanting to actually ride in the train at all.
Oh.
She just wanted to, cause trouble.
Oh.
And I'm like, how do you
Mhm.
prove that in
Right,
a court
right.
of law?
That sounds like hearsay.
Mhm. That sounds like racism.
And racism.
Like-
Yes. Exactly.
Like,
But this is a long time before Rosa Parks not giving up a seat.
Yes.
So, yes.
there's
I'd be on
another
a train.
lady. Gosh, I came across her once. I need to look up her name. I tried to look her up a few times. I heard a podcast. It was the same kind of a thing on a streetcar.
Ah,
I
there
think
you
it
go.
was. And
Train,
they tried to
streetcar,
yank her,
bus. Yeah.
and they yanked her off. She got back in and just sat back in the seat.
Sweet. I like it. I
So
like
there's
it.
a long
drive
line.
that fast streetcar.
Yes, right. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was the driver of the streetcar stopped to pull her out of the seat, and then she just got back in the
She's
seat.
like, nope. Try it
So it's
again.
a long line of feisty ladies.
Yes, not giving up their seat for
Um,
nothing.
But she started, along with her teaching job, started writing for a newspaper
Sweet.
under the pen name Iola.
Mm-hmm.
then she ended up writing about, how there's racial differences in the way that white schools are run and black schools are run.
No way. From
and
experience?
she ended up getting fired.
Oh.
Like, indirectly. They just
figured
didn't
out it was
renew
her.
her contract that year.
Sure.
So she started writing full time.
Oh, nice.
Because Ida, like Alexander Hamilton, she just can't stop.
I like it.
This
Another
woman
reference.
is nuts. She began, in a good way, nuts.
Right,
but
exactly. In a determined,
Yes.
screw you.
so
show
she
you.
began writing for another newspaper, and I think this is the one that she was part owner of.
Gotcha.
And she started traveling to gain subscribers and running on more trains. And fun fact of that day, journalists got to ride on trains for free.
Oh my goodness. Interesting. Yeah. That seems neat.
And this is when she starts really calling out the lynching that's happening, like not only just in the South, but like everywhere.
Yeah.
She's specifically calling out the coincidence that it just happens to be that it's almost always a black man raping a white woman.
Right.
And she, I forget the exact wording, but she basically writes in there like, either like, she's like, this is not really a problem because if it is, like, if this is really a thing, then your white ladies, because she's assuming that men are reading this paper, like,
right. Maybe the problem is different than what you're making it up to be. I mean, wait, what?
So they got really mad.
Is that the Red Record? Is that the one that she put together of the lynchings? Because I know that she has two. We have both of her books. There really are like pamphlets that are just like a very big pamphlet. But one of the lynching stories actually has a case study in Indiana. Yeah. So I was pulling it when I was looking at lynch laws and stuff like that, and I'm like, wait a minute, Ida B talked about Indiana.
Yep. But yeah, a bunch of dudes reading in the paper were not happy.
Oh no!
They ended up publishing some kind of rebuttal
to
her.
As they could write.
But she and her work partner, who also owned the thing, they happened to be out of town. Their offices were destroyed.
Right.
I think he intentionally left town. I don't know if he just got word that maybe something would happen. She happened to be in New York. But yeah, their offices were destroyed.
Gotcha.
And she just never came back.
Yeah.
She didn't even come back for her stuff.
Gotcha. She was just done.
It's like the luggage in the smoking car.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop me. Didn't even care.
Yeah. As long as you're, you're still alive, you still have the ability to use your voice and to get it out there. There will be another paper, hopefully.
And I saw in this one, no copies of that paper have survived.
Oh.
Like, they have where people are quoting it in other excerpts of stuff, but not like the actual paper. I'm like, well, people don't save newspapers.
They are very hard to save, but still. Paper.
But she ended up living and working in New York, in Harlem.
Sweet.
And she started going over to Britain and giving lectures.
Yay.
And they were like horrified they're like, what is happening in America? I want to be like, y'all
it's like today. There are other
y'all
countries.
conquer the whole world and you're surprised at this? Like what? I don't know.
That was in the
what's
past.
wrong with America
They do,
circles back.
They conquer people snootily. They don't do stuff as violent as lynching.
Right.
She was often a guest of Frederick Douglass.
Yay!
And he was much older than her at this time, so I think maybe she saw him as like a father figure, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Exactly.
I don't know.
I mean, I've seen young pictures of Frederick Douglass, and I still go, no. He's always got the pepper,
Right.
you know what I mean? Peppered hair.
I feel like he's Morgan Freeman, where he looks
he's just always
old
been 60.
all the time.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. Sweet.
But she often gave lectures on anti-lynching and speaking for women's suffrage.
Sweet.
And Susan B. Anthony herself came to hear her speak once. And someone started heckling her, and Susan B. Anthony, told him to shut up.
Yes! Susan B. and Ida B.
Nice.
That's a powerhouse
great.
right there.
Yeah. Because Susan's got her issues.
Yeah.
She's very much oh, goodness, what's the word?
I mean, she's
before suffrage, she met
Abolitionist.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
She's very much
absolutely.
abolitionist, but
Yep.
then also kind of making some comments that are not
Yeah.
not so great.
She also has a hyper-focus problem.
Yeah.
Like, everything
Only
is
women.
women's rights. And
Yeah.
she has a harder time seeing
She
the
gets
bigger picture.
Mad for ladies having babies.
Yeah.
She's like, how dare you get married and have babies? We have work to do.
Right. Hyper-focus. We need those kind of people, but we also need
Yeah.
a little bit of a break or brevity. Yeah.
But yeah, I was so happy to hear that she
That she spoke up
took
right
down
now.
a heckler. It was
Yes.
great. She ended up attending the Chicago World's Fair because everyone did.
Everybody did. It was there for like a year.
But the there was not very much black representation at
No.
the Chicago World's Fair.
Wait, what?
So Ida and what would be her future husband,
Yeah.
and another guy,
Gotcha.
ended up writing up a whole bunch of little pamphlets
Yes.
about like how come African Americans
Where
are
are
not
the black
included in
people
this
at?
event.
Right.
And they passed out like thousands of these pamphlets at the Chicago's World Fair.
Sweet.
But she did end up getting married. Did I save that? There's a real good quote about her when she's 24.
Right. And she married the Barnett, right? Because it's
Yeah.
Ida
Barnett.
B. Wells Barnett is always
Yeah.
how I remember the full long name. And I'm like, I think the Barnett is the dude she married.
At the age of 24, she wrote, I will not begin at this late in the day by doing what my soul abhors, sugaring men, weak, deceitful creatures, with flattery to retain them as escorts or to gratify a revenge. This is funny that she goes from like 24 being like, so when she's like 30, like, yeah, fine.
Right.
This guy's fine.
He's pretty cool. He helps me make pamphlets at the... We can conquer the world together. Okay.
But she ends up marrying him. They end up having 4 kids.
Sweet.
And he brought 2 from his previous marriage.
Oh, okay.
So they had
A Brady
6
Bunch,
kids.
but a lower number.
And then she's still
Yeah.
going. Like, she's got 6 kids.
Right.
Still going.
Sweet.
She ended up being a founding member of the NAACP.
Yes.
One of my favorite facts is that she was at the suffrage parade in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
I think that one's 1917, I think. I get the dates for the D.C. and the New York one
Yeah.
mixed up all the time.
Because yes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah. But she was
Numbers are eluding me at this
wanting
point.
to... Gosh, I forget. I think she was wanting to just march with the Illinois contingent.
Yeah.
And they were like, with Alice Paul and them, they were like, well, if we make, a separate group of African American people, then maybe the white people won't march.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of had to
Politics.
just make
Racism.
a call. But Ida was still there. Like, she came to town for this. She ended up just sneaking into the parade.
She just walked where
She
she
went,
wanted to
whoop.
walk. That's the vibe. She's just gonna do what she's gonna do.
right.
It's what she should do.
And then she is one of the few women that I feel like fought for suffrage and actually lived to see it,
Yeah, true.
which is always good.
Mhm. Yep.
She ended up registering thousands of women to vote.
Sweet.
She lived in Chicago.
Mhm.
She ended up having beef with Jane Addams.
Yeah, I remember a little bit of this, but yes, yeah. There's enough Chicago for both of you ladies.
Yeah.
But yeah.
She ended up having a little beef with her. It sounded like maybe Jane Addams read her paper or something.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then Jane Addams published something that was kind of like, yeah, lynching is bad, and we should definitely do something about that. But maybe we should give some of these people maybe the benefit of the doubt that maybe they did do something. They should still get a trial and all
Kinda
this,
being
but maybe they
wishy-washy
weren't all
and-
that innocent or something. It was like,
a
so
little too forgiving. I can
she
see
wrote
that
her back.
pissing off a person for sure.
Pissed me off just now.
I know, right?
Mhm.
Did Ida B write a retort?
She did write a retort.
Retorts are my favorite thing. I got to write one too, and I was so happy. I'm like, allow me to retort. Because did Ida have another paper in Chicago? Or no?
I think it sounded like she had a paper
Okay.
everywhere she went.
Okay, that's fair. Yes, exactly. I mean, girls gonna write and find a printing press somewhere. So, yeah, fair.
But Ida wrote back, starting out like praising her, that she didn't want to diminish the impact of what Adams has been doing. Like,
Sure.
she was like, you're a well-respected woman.
Right.
You're condemning lynching.
Thanks.
But
However.
it's not a good argument, and yeah.
Right, exactly.
Then she roasted her.
Yes, exactly.
But also made it clear that if every white activist wrote a similar essay, the nation would be a much better place. So she's doing the compliment sandwich.
Right. Very good.
Yep.
There we go. Compliment sandwich with these no in between.
She also had beef. I don't know exactly. I haven't heard exactly why, but she had beef with Booker T. Washington too.
Oh, all right. Okay.
I don't know. It sounded
I
like
have heard that before too, but I mean, sometimes the hyper focus of somebody going, but I need it to be this way, meets another person that is like, but it could be this way, and it's just like, no.
It sounds like there's a whole bunch of people calling her prickly.
Oh, okay.
That she's just kind of hard to work with.
She's had a lot of
I don't
shit
know.
happen.
But I'm like, you know what? Bitches get shit done.
Thank you.
And she's getting shit done.
Yes, there you go.
Like,
don't stop the person who's actually getting something done.
no. She ended up dying at age 69.
Gotcha. Oh, that's pretty young.
March 25th, 1931, of kidney failure.
Oh.
And she was in the middle of writing her autobiography.
Yes, which we have.
And
nope, that's not it. I just know it's an orange one. There it is. Her kids finished it.
yeah, her daughter,
There it is.
Alfreda,
See it.
Dun, 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 dun.
ended up
We don't have the
editing
dust jacket
it
anymore.
and
Yeah.
publishing it.
Exactly. Right?
Very cool.
The University of Chicago Press. So,
Ta-da.
perfect. Yeah, I love that we have it. I feel like we're going to lose it all the time. And it does actually check out because she has a Barbie. People be like, oh, I saw her Barbie and I don't know anything about her, so I'd like to learn about her.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people know about Ida, but then at the same time, I feel like people don't know about Ida.
Correct.
She's
like you
odd.
recognize the name, but not what's behind it.
Yep.
Oh.
She's done so many different things that I think people don't see her as one thing. And so they just confuse her. Be like, oh, well, if she doesn't fit into this mold, then yeah. Mm-hmm. But
let's see. The home, well, not really the home, but she was born.
right.
The plantation, I assume,
Right.
that she was born in, that house, that her enslaved parents were not allowed to live in.
Right.
They lived in their shack outside.
Please tell
That
me
her dad built.
Please tell me it
that
burned
he
to the
built.
ground. Because karma's fair,
The
right?
Bowling Gatewood House
Yeah.
is now
Oh, no.
Ida B. Wells Museum.
Oh!
That
I'll take
is
it.
awesome.
Okay,
I thought you were
that's
about to say a plantation you
Yeah.
can get married at and tour through.
Apparently that happened recently in plantation.
Yeah.
Burned down.
Yes, by lightning. And force majeure. And I went, karma's a bitch. It took a while, but it finally burned down.
I'm not sure if that's covered under insurance. That may be an act of
It
God
is an
and not
act of God.
uncovered.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
There's also a landmark house in Chicago,
Yeah.
but people live there.
Oh, okay.
I think there's just like a plaque outside.
Okay, it's like Michael Jackson's
Don't
birthplace.
don't go knocking on the door.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Josh drove by that one in Chicago, and I'm like, Ida B's from there, but you went to
Mhm.
Michael Jackson's birthplace? Okay. All right, then.
And then I have another quote
Sweet.
about her. She's got a bunch of quotes.
Yeah.
Like we have a whole bunch of quotes like from her writing.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know who even wrote this. Oh.
You're like,
I
where is
don't know.
this quote attributed to?
Someone wrote about her.
Yeah.
I think either right before she died or right after. Like someone who like knew her.
Yeah.
That Ida Wells Barnett is highly lauded for her courage and
Magnificence?
magnanimity.
Oh, I don't even know that word.
She towers high.
Generosity
right.
is the synonym, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Magmonious.
Her goodness.
Yeah.
She towers high above all of her
Yes.
male contemporaries and has more of the aggressive qualities than the average man. It belittles the men to some extent to have a woman come forward to do the work that is naturally presumed to be that of a man. But Mrs. Barnett never shrieks or evades. She is a heroine of her age, and the nation is better off for her having lived in it.
Yes.
Long live Mrs. Ida B. Wells Barnett.
Yeah.
So,
I second that.
Nice.
No retort at all. I completely second.
Amazing.
I love it. Yes, very much a injustice warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Amazing.
Anne has her own Barbie. So, you know,
Yes.
just it's those little things that whatever gets people to pay attention to her.
Absolutely.
Take it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, do you want me to wrap it up
do
for
it.
our first episode? That wraps us up for this week. So join us next week as another Injustice Gal is picked to share on the Gals Guide podcast. Thanks for listening. Want to learn about more women of history? Gals Guide opened a unique women's history lending library. Come visit and explore our collection. Learn more at galsguide.org. Thanks for listening.